He boldly set both of his legs on the extravagant tablecloth and savored a high-quality liquor, which probably had a mind-boggling price, straight from the neck of the bottle. At that time, someone knocked. Dara realized that he was about to meet his maker.
ああ、鍵なんかかかってねえぜ。誰でも入ってきてくれ。そして自己紹介を頼むぜ。人間なら名前を名乗ってくれ。
And if you are a witch, lift up your entire skirt and start tap dancing for us.
ベアトリーチェだってんなら3サイズを教えてくれ。
Or that. I mean, why not?
俺はこう見えてもちょいと知られたおっぱいソムリエなんだぜ。
源氏でございます、バトラ様。
源氏さんか。悪いがあんたのバストのサイズに興味はねえな。入ってくれよ。空いてるぜ。
失礼いたします。
Genji-san opened the door and bowed. So, Genji-san was the culprit after all. Or maybe an accomplice. In theory would probably explain most of the tricks.
あんたが俺に引導を渡しに来たのかい？
そのようなことはございません。お邪魔なようでしたら失礼いたします。
おいおい、要件も伝えず失礼しますじゃかえって気持ち悪いぜ。何の用だよ。最後くらい好きにさせてくれ。
バトラ様は死せる最後のわずかな時間をそのように怠惰に過ごされることをお望みですか？
Those words stung. Of course it wasn't.
今さら何ができるってんだ。俺はいつだって死ぬ準備はできてるぜ。
親方様と同じですな。本当にあなたは親方様の血を色濃く受け継がれている。
あの豪傑なじい様が実はいつ死んでもいいと思ってたってのか。それは初耳だぜ。
親方様の人生はいくつかの悲しい出来事の末、すべて贖罪のためのものとなり果てたのです。
あんたは何を知っているんだ？
ベアトリーチェ様の儀式も第8の晩までをすべて終えました。もうすべてをお話ししてもよいかと思います。
About what? I mean, there ain't much time left. I doubt that it would matter if anyone else found out they are telling us about this, if it's a secret and all that, so... Let it all out, Genji.
なんだって？
My drunkenness was completely blown away. I lowered my feet from the table and listened carefully to hear what kind of words Genji-san would say next.
バトラ様、親方様の書斎へご案内申し上げます。
Oh. What an honor.
親方様たちに直接お話を聞かれるのがよろしいでしょう。
じい様たち。おい、それは一体どういう。
さあ、こちらへご案内申し上げます。バトラ様。
After Genji told me to follow him, he started to walk down the corridor. I sobered up completely and went after him. We climbed the big staircase towards the third floor. Genji-san stopped walking halfway. He then turned back and spoke.
バトラ様、 これよりバトラ様は理解できぬものを見るでしょう。
脅すなよ。
I mean, I doubt that there will be much surprise for us after what we experienced today. Unless Kinzo and Beatrice are preparing themselves to summon Cthulhu, I doubt that there's much that will scare us at this point.
理解できねえもんなら今日嫌になるほど見てるぜ。
見えるものを見えるがままに、聞こえるものを聞こえるがままに受け入れてください。なぜも何も何も必要はありません。バトラ様はただ真実を知ることになるでしょう。それをお認めになるかお信じになるか、あるいは否定されるかも、すべてバトラ様にお任せいたします。
Oh boy. This sounds serious. Next thing you know, we're gonna meet Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. Ready to be a part of the next game of chess. Genji-san checked one last time to see whether I was prepared to learn the truth. The 8th twilight had already ended, and on the 9th twilight, the witch revives, and none shall be left alive. It meant that Beatrice had already revived, and probably none of us would be allowed to return alive. If I was going to lose my life anyway, I wanted to know the truth in the end. It didn't matter how hard it might be to accept.
ああ、鬼が出ようと魔女が出ようと覚悟はできてるぜ。
本当にあなたは親方様の若き頃にそっくりだ。バトラ様、どうかご勉学にお励みを。
Too late for that, good old friend. I mean, who cares about studies now, when we're dealing with witches and demons?
あなたは将来、必ずや大きな志を持たれるでしょう。そしてその時、足りぬ学力に一生後悔されることがありませんよ。
勉学に勤しめる機会がもらえるならぜひな。
Genji-san's silence forced me to consider that resignation of mine more deeply. And we could see the door of grandfather's study, impregnated with a sweet smell. From his pocket, Genji-san drew a cool key with an elegant design. Kenzo! We are here! We are ready to rock! Wait. Genji still has a gold key for the study room, huh? He never gave all of his keys away. I mean, guess it makes sense since Kenzo is still alive and Genji would serve him till the end of time. He only gave the rest of the keys, including the master ones. The master keys had been confiscated by Auntie Rosa, but the key to the study alone, he had kept it with him. He put it in the keyhole, and it made a heavy clunking sound.
親方様、源氏です。バトラ様をお連れいたしました。
There was no reply, but it seemed that the permission to go in had been given.
さあ、バトラ様、どうぞ。
ああ、入るぜ。
I readied myself and threw the door open. At that moment, I got slightly disoriented by the dazzling golden glow. It was somehow a swarm of butterflies, shining gold. The golden butterflies that were completely filling the inside of the study poured out all at once. Heyo! It was almost like golden leaf confetti. The entire grandfather's study was filled with a golden glow. And there were reception sofas and a table for guests placed in front of the study desk. And I could see grandfather's back. There was someone on the side opposite from grandfather. It was in shadow, so I couldn't see it well.
親方様、バトラ様をお連れしました。バトラか。
Yo, yo, what up, caveman? Haven't seen you in a while, brother. High five, my good old pal.
今思考が忙しい。しばし沈黙せよ。
Kenzo declared that in displeasure. His back still turned. It seemed that he was enjoying placing chess with a visitor. Apparently, the opponent had counterattacked with a superb move. Kenzo seemed to be enjoying himself as he fought deeply, while occasionally laughing and groaning.
30年考えた。この一手をどう切り返すか。30年考えたぞ。楽しめ。30年を寝かせた我が一手を楽しめ。
まことにこの一手は味わい深き熟成された一手よ。楽しい楽しい。
I see that you two finally reunited and are having fun. Congratulations, K-Man! You finally managed to succeed and meet your waifu.
かなわぬかなわぬ。
これは何だってんだ。
来たかバトラ。しばらく待て。金蔵のために沈黙を。まだリザインは早いぞ、金蔵。わらわならもう数手は切り返せる。
It should have been my first meeting with that witch. However, I knew this witch. Even though it was our first meeting, I knew her from the portrait.
源氏、バトラのために飲み物を振る舞え。この男によりふさわしきやつは何か？
若き日より親方様が愛されている。いつものあれを。
それがよいぞ。振る舞ってやれ。よくぞ来たな。後ろ宮バトラ。まずは座れ。そなたはわらわの名を何度も呼んだな。それに免じ、わらわとの面会を許した。そしてお前は、わらわに何を聞く？何を尋ねるのか。黄金鏡の扉はもうじき開かれる。魔女たちを迎え入れてのわらわの復活を祝う宴はもうじきだぞ。
Banquet? There are gonna be other witches there too? Is Baron Castell invited as well? And that one witch I've heard of, like Lambda Delta, that I heard of before, is that witch gonna come here as well?
それまでの間、お前の問いにいくらでも答えてやろう。
聞きてえことは山ほどある。この島で何が起こった？そしてどうしてこんな事件が起こった？密室についても聞きたい。
And is Gop gonna join in the banquet as well? All 72 demons? And please tell me we're gonna have like mackerel soup at the banquet as well. That would be freaking great.
礼拝堂はジェシカの部屋は小日室は夏代おばさんの部屋はそして客場は聞きたいことはまだまだある。魔女の正体は本当にベアトリーチは魔女なのか。何が目的だ。俺たちに何をさせたい。俺をなぜここへ呼んだんだ。答えろ全てだ。
And I want to hear all the juicy bits regarding you and Kinzo 30 years ago. Also, Battler asked about your free sizes earlier as well. Oi, oi.
やかましい。問えば答えは変えるのか。
そういうな金蔵。もろく儚い雲の巣もヘロデの王から守ってくれることもある。この世に無駄なものなどないように無駄な質問もまたない。よいよい、すべての質問に答えようぞ。ただし条件が一つだけある。
Oh boy, here we go. The one condition.
なんだ。
すべてを聞き、わらわの存在に納得できたなら、ひざまずき、わらわの靴にキスをせよ。お前を屈服させたくて、わらわはここへ呼びつけたのだから。
Yeah, right. I'd rather kiss carps and eat them for the rest of my life rather than do all that, Beatrice. I knew your answer would be something of the sorts, so I prepared this.
Warawa わらわと金蔵は賭けをした。金蔵が次の手をひらめくのと、わらわがそなたを屈服させるのと、どちらが早いかだ。負ける気はせぬぞ。
でけえ口を叩きやがって。ああ、いいぜ。俺を納得させてみろよ。お前が間違いなく魔女様で、不思議で素敵な大魔法を使えるってことを納得させてみろよ。屈服したならキスでも何でもくれてやれ。
The witch cackled gloatingly. Then she glared at him unpleasantly with eyes that said the man cannot go back on his word.
よくぞ言った。さて、どの問いから答えようか。すべて答えるぞ。さあ、まずは何からだ。 どこなの？ベアトリーチェ、姿を見せなさい。ベアトリーチェ。
Rosa finally arrived at the chapel. She pointed a gun around, screaming the witch's name, but there was no way there would be an answer. After grimacing slightly, she noisily approached the table where her siblings' corpses were still exposed, and stretched out her arm towards the gold ingots. They were very heavy, but Rosa paid that no regard. She wrapped one of them in a blanket and slung it over her shoulder.
せめてこの一つだけでも、これだけでも1000万以上の価値があるはず。
Rosa did not part with her gun either, carrying the gold in addition to it. Shoulders were screaming, but Rosa didn't care.
もうすぐだね。もうすぐ黄金鏡の扉が開く。
その気持ち悪い声で笑うのをやめなさい。ベアトリーチェはどこにいるの？ええ、分かってるわ。どこかにいるんでしょ？あなたは知ってるんでしょ？どこ？
知らない。探さなくても黄金鏡で会えるよ。
その笑いをやめなさい。私が笑いたいくらいよ。そうね、あれは間違いなく魔女だったわ。私は分かってなかった。魔女を名乗る人間だと信じてた。違う、あれは本当に魔女だった。私はあんなのにごまかされないわよ。いるんでしょ？出てきなさい。姿を現しなさい。ベアトリーチェ。
だからもうすぐ現れるよ。黄金鏡の扉が開かれるよ。
そうだ、それでよかったのだ。構わぬ、ルークを捨てるぞ。持てるもの全てを失う覚悟がなければ至ることもできぬキングがお前という女なのだ。追い詰めるぞ、ベアトリーチェ。
せめてクイーンと言え。ほう、なかなかに妙手。諦めの悪さがそなたの。いや、後ろ宮の地下。
心地よし、実に優雅な夜だ。うわ
親方様、ベアトリーチェ様、そろそろ宴の時間でございます。
もうか、早い。お前と過ごす夜はいつも早く。月がリンゴのように落ち、川面より跳ねる小魚のように日が昇るのだ。
行こうではないか。時間だ。立て、バトラー。わらわの復活を祝う宴の始まりだ。わらわの新しい家具。いや、玩具として紹介しようぞ。お歴々の魔女たちに。
The witch was relaxing elegantly, her feet thrown out from the sofa, and sitting on top of a footrest. However, the footrest wasn't a part of the sofa. It was a human, which was down on all fours.
ベアトリーチェ様、お召し替えのドレスでございます。
主賓はお前だが、ホストは私だ。私は先に出ていよう。着付けの手伝いにシャノンでもおればよかったが、 あいにく残れなかったようだな。使いたい時にいつもおらん。つくづく使えんやつよ。しかしお前はよく残ってくれた。嬉しいぞ我が友よ。
ありがたいお言葉です。
よい、二人とも先に下で待て。源氏、ご苦労。そのドレスはそこへ置いていけ。
かしこまりました。それでは親方様。
我らは先に行こう。ベアトリーチェ、後ほどな。
Kinzo and Genji left the study. After that, all of the witch and the dress and the furniture remained.
なぜわらわがそなたに肌を見せることを恥じぬかわかるか。そなたは家具だからだ。家具、わかるか。家具だよ、家具。家具に体をさらして恥じる者がどこにいよう。だからお前にわらわは恥じる必要がない。
The witch stood up and removed her jacket just at the shoulders. The jacket slumped down at the back. When the furniture respectfully approached to pick up her clothing, the witch gave it a small kick and it fell over. The furniture was afraid of what misconduct it had shown.
そなたは家具の分際でわらわに自らボタンを外させるつもりなのか。立て、そしてこのボタンを外せ。一つずつ丁寧に、早く、美しく、粗相なく。客人たちを待たせてしまうぞ。早くわらわを着替えさせろ。
はい。
丁寧に外すのだぞ。そなたの目玉一つよりも高価なボタンであるぞ。間違ってちぎるようなことがあったなら、代わりにそなたの目玉を縫い付けてやる。
The entrance hall was bustling with a large number of figures, and it was sparkling gold with the gold butterflies flying around. The gentlemen in suits and tuxedos, and the ladies in dresses looked like they were having a great number of friendly chats. At a glance, it might have looked like a fabulous medieval ball. But they all had one thing in common, and that thing was exceedingly bizarre, because all of them had goat heads. It was impossible to tell whether it was a goat mask masquerade, or whether they really had goat heads. The latter was a ridiculous notion, but in this bizarre world, there was serious doubt about which was true. Goats. Goats everywhere. Freaking goats. Kenzo was among those goat nobles, greeting them. Every one of them seemed to be an honored guest, and Kenzo greeted them more respectfully than could ever have been imagined from his normal demeanor. At that time, Genji's voice rang out through the hall. It was a voice calling for silence. That voice stopped the voices of idle chatter, and everyone turned to face Genji.
今宵復活を遂げましたる我らが黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ卿のご入場でございます。
Yay!
皆様 拍手をもってどうかお迎えください。
When Genji began to applaud, he quickly spread through the guests, and became thunderous applause. And the Golden Witch appeared at the top of the large staircase. She gracefully waved her hand as she slowly descended the staircase, with the preferred furniture in tow. The gold nobles offered unanimous words of celebration in some long-forgotten language, and those with whom she was closely acquainted embraced her, filled with joy at their reunion. How freaking lovely. Well, might as well drink to my heart's content. Kanpai. Bet. As the witch offered greetings of reunion, the witch's furniture fell behind her the whole time. There was a chain around its neck, and this was gripped in the witch's hand, like it was a trained dog. The chain wasn't there to restrain it. The only purpose of the restraining device was to injure the furniture's dignity. He wasn't permitted to wear anything else on its body. One of the young woman goats, mixed in with the goat nobles, softly removed her goat mask as the furniture passed in front of her, and spoke with eyes that had no light in them. Hi there, Burn. I guess Beatrice won once again. I cannot say that I'm happy about it either. That face looked like it belonged to a long-haired young girl.
哀れね。おお、ベルンカステル卿。これはようこそおいでよ。わらわの家具を気に入られたか？いい趣味ね。
After saying only that, the witch called Berncastel once again put on her goat mask, and was swallowed up in the shadows of the other tall goats.
負け惜しみを悔しがってるのよ。
違いないな。
The young women goats giggled, and the witch once again let out a high-pitched laugh.
今宵はわらわのためによく集まってくれた。久々に古今東西の旧友たちが集う魔女の宴を存分に楽しもうではないか。さあ、今宵を食い明かし、飲み明かし、すすり明かし、食いちぎり明かして、とことん楽しもうではないか。時計を見よ。終わりの時間と始まりの時間が溶け合う時を指すぞ。魔女の宴を始めよう。
When the witch proclaimed the beginning of the banquet, the large clock pointed to 24, and the sound of a bell began to ring out loudly.
さあ、今こそ黄金の扉を開こうぞ。
I cannot freaking believe this. All at once, the butterflies lifting gold flew all around inside of the room. Amidst the golden storm and the brilliant gold-colored light, the cross-section joining this world and a different world was cut open. Amidst the goats' delighted voices, the mention of the human world and the mention of those not human overlapped. And, in the form of golden butterflies, all those folk who praised the resurrection of the Golden Witch poured out of the depths of hell. It was a golden tornado, a rondo of golden demons. Uh-oh. Don't tell me that I was right about this. Come, tonight we will put aside rank. Throw open the wine cellar. Drop the snake's head into the liquor pot. throw cows and chickens into the furnace alive, drink and eat and sing and dance, sneer and kill and desecrate and degrade. Oh my god, what is going on? The gold nobles were suddenly crushing in around Kenzo, almost like they were kids demanding the autograph of some famous movie star. Uh-oh. There were two differences. First, they were witches, not kids. And second, what the witches demanded were not autographs. Kenzo began to drown in a sea of gold nobles. Only Kenzo's laughing voice echoed throughout the area. It was a grand mixture of laughter and his death throes. And Kenzo became wine and meat and bread. An aroma of slurped, a rich taste if gnawed, and pleasant to tear to bits. The voice of his death throes lingered on sweetly, and adorned with melted chocolate and silver degrees. It would make a wonderful dessert. If you took the bones home, you could also use them for a soup, and the remains could even become toys for the children to play with, and could also become good tools for fortune-telling that always gave misfortune. That entire scene was watched by the piece of furniture. It was all fantastical. It was all demonic. The quaking of its heart, which should have been paralyzed, proved that he could still feel fear. Just then, its knees buckled, and the furniture's body tumbled onto the center of the carpet. Because the witch had kicked those knees from behind. The piece of furniture let out a painful voice. Fear is the most primal emotion humans have. Was that emotion reviving his sense of self, which should have already been killed? The gold nobles were surrounding the cowering furniture. It seemed that their blazing, blood-red eyes couldn't hide their ecstasy of this new young food that they had been given. Oh no. And from their mouths, from which protruded countless ugly teeth, saliva, or maybe the traces of meat and wine that they had just eaten, dribbled down. As the piece of furniture let out a wild scream, it retreated, still sitting on its backside. But the circle of goat nobles was closing in. And the piece of furniture looked at the witch's face. It stared at her face one final time, believing that because it had submitted to the witch, she would show it some mercy. But there was nothing but scorn on the witch's face, and she wasn't even facing it anymore. The witch went off to greet another guest with whom she had crossed gazes. The old nobles looked down upon the furniture. They were, in fact, waiting. Just like how one must remove the cork in order to drink champagne. Before bringing the offerings served at the banquet to their mouths, they were waiting for just one of those. Of course, the furniture didn't know what that was, but it would come out of his mouth all by itself. In the same way there is always a pop when the cork is removed, it too would certainly leave his mouth. Scream. It was a sign that the modest banquet at which he has to be served had begun. Yep. I can definitely say that this banquet sucks. By now, the rose garden was a garden of roses and gold. A gold-colored garden where gold butterflies, gold fairies, gold lizards rampaged and flew about wildly.
Maria, 早く! 走って! 早く!
Holding onto the gun and the blanket wrapping the anklet, Rosa ran at a speed Maria couldn't catch up with, sometimes pausing to call out at Maria to run faster. Therefore, she saw it every time. She saw the golden pursuers chasing them from the mansion. The mass of gold butterflies was chasing after them like a massive crawling hand. And horrifyingly strange-looking shadowy figures with goat heads were chasing after them. There was no need for her to strain her eyes, because those blazing pupils told her what would happen if she was captured. Maria tripped over. Rosa, ashamed that for just an instant she had entertained thoughts of abandoning her daughter and running away, kicked back against the ground and instantly reversed direction. Oh no! As Rosa's own child tried to stand, the goat head that had sprinted over to get the first bite grabbed a fistful of her hair and pulled her from the back. Rosa rammed into the goat head with her shoulder, spun, dashed the back of her elbow into the goat's jaw, and buried her knee into its protruding chest. Whoa! And she thrust the barrel of the gun inside the goat head's mouth, as it doubled over from the pain in its gut. The blast from the 45 caliber long bullet exploded inside the goat head's throat, and its medulla oblongata was instantly pulverized. The goat head couldn't understand, and I thought that women were like already opened wine bottles, and I thought that they were wine bottles, and that turning them upside down would immediately cause their deep red contents to come out. Released, Maria flung her arms around Rosa. But the pursuers were still coming. I could see the giant goat heads, who had given up even pretending to be human, running towards them from across the rose bushes. Rosa spilled several extra bullets, which had been in the pocket of her coat, all over the place, and told Maria to pick them up.
マリア、ママがもし倒れたら、あなたは走りなさい。海岸へ行くの。そして泳いで泳いで泳ぎなさい。この島のどこにも生き延びることのできる場所はない。やだ、ママと一緒。
Rosa's gun roared 4 times. But even though she really did land 4 shots in the chest of the massive, approaching goat, he didn't even flinch. The goat ran with a violent vigor, as though it had planned to crush Rosa and Maria with its massive body. Rosa grasped the blanket with the ingot in both hands, and she herself sprinted at the goat, dragging the ingot along behind her. Without even an ounce of fear of that strange-looking giant. If it's to protect my daughter, I'll overcome even hell. Rosa's roar. The goat head's roar. The turbo-heavy ingot, after picking up a turbo-centrifugal force's speed, slammed the goat's head's cranium. Oh! Rosa pulled the fountain pen from her pocket, but she held it crooked. She placed it in her palm, and the gap between her middle finger and her ring finger, so that it was stuck out when she made a fist, almost like it was a stinger growing out. What? She jabbed that stinger into the left eye of the goat head, as its head toppled forward. It was the goat's head's roar scream. Rosa's roar was different. She pulled back her fist and slammed it into the fountain pen that was still sticking into the goat head's eye. The pointed tip was gouged destructively into the depths of its head. As I grabbed the gun Maria had thrown, I finally heard the thunderous crash of the giant fumbling to earth. However, at the same time, I saw the goat-head pursuers on the other side of the rose bushes increase in number. I'd gained some distance, more than enough now. Holding onto the gun and the blanket wrapped around the ingot, I once again ran with Maria. Why am I running with a gun in my right hand and the goat in my left? Why did I free one hand and grasp Maria's hand? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I cannot let go of the gun that protects my body. I cannot go with the goal that protects my future. Yet, I will let go of the hand of my daughter, who is my very future. Run, run, run. She got out of the rose garden and began to run down the staircase through the grove of trees. But Rosa knew. This path through the grove was only turning and twisting many times to make it seem long. She tore straight through it. She had always played here since she was a kid. So she knew. To the beach. To the beach. To the sea. To the sea. To the sea. And if after reaching the sea, nothing to do but swim. 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 If Maria cannot swim, I'll carry her as I swim. There is nothing but death on this island. As she raced down the stairs, she took a bad step. A violent pain ran up her left ankle, and her mind went completely blank. Rosa fell down several stairs, and stared in shock at her ankle, which was bent at an odd angle. And the blanket with the ingot wasn't there. She had let go of it the instant she fell, and it had disappeared somewhere into the darkness. Only the gun was left. The tremors in the earth were getting closer. It was only a matter of time before the goat heads flooded in. Oh no! She didn't want to imagine how many there would be, or how strange they would look. And the lightly dancing gold pursuers arrived. And the gold butterflies surrounded Rosa and Maria, sparkling and clamoring as though saying, "The prize is here! The prize is here!" Rosa couldn't even try to get up. The violent pain from her broken ankle was so great that she couldn't ignore it, even in her last moments. Oh no. What am I doing? I had the gold. It had been worth several million yen. I might have been able to start over with that. And yet, I fell, lost it. And that's not all. My own life is in danger. Even Maria's life is in danger. What has my life been? I was born in an incomprehensible house. Been irritating older brother and sister since the day I was born. What did I do? No matter what I did or didn't do, I was always in trouble and bullied and made fun of. What has my life been? The horror inside Rosa's heart shriveled away and disappeared. It disappeared when she listened to Maria's crying voice, as her daughter sobbed and clung onto her.
マリア、ママはちょっと用事を思い出したの。先に行っててちょうだい。
Oh no.
ママと一緒がいい。ママが死んじゃ嫌だ。マリアはこんな悪いママでもママと一緒がいいと言ってくれるの。ママと一緒がいい。ママと一緒がいい。あなたのことを一番にしているように見せて、いつもあなたのことを後回しにしてきた。運動会に行った、授業参観に行った。でもいつもママは世間体のことばかりで、あなたが瞳にいなかった。こんなママとでもあなたは一緒にいたいというの。こんな悪いママなのに。ねえママ、知ってる？世界にママは一人しかいないんだよ。いいママも悪いママもいない。ただママが一人いるだけなの。だからマリアは世界でたった一人ママがいてくれればいい。そしてママにとってたった一人のマリアになりたいの。機嫌が良くて甘やかしたいマリアと邪魔だからいてほしくないマリアは別人じゃないの。マリアもたった一人のマリアなの。だから怖いママも優しいママも一緒。マリアにはたった一人のママなの。私はなんてバカだったの。黄金なんかいらなかった。ただあなただけの手を引いていればよかった。私はなんてバカなママだったの。
The shadows of the goats covered the sky even more than the trees of the forest. Their roars blotted out the world with fear. Rosa, still hugging Maria, readied her gun with one hand.
マリア、一緒に行こう。ずっと一緒よ。ママが迷わないようにずっと一緒に。すぐに会えるよ。ずっと一緒だよ。黄金鏡で会えるよ。そしたら一緒に遊ぶの。狼と羊のパズルで遊ぶの。ママはまだ1問しか解いてないけど、マリアは全部解いちゃったんだよ。だからマリアが出題してあげる。
She had bought that as a birthday present, and then hadn't played it with Maria after that night.
遊ぼうね。一緒に。約束する。
Those eyes, sparkling like red-hot lava, looked just like a group of fireflies. They danced, closed in, and attacked.
マリアが込めてくれた銃弾を食らいたいやつから前へ出ろよ。